Hey there, Aurelie here from withhisgifts.com. Welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Today I have another video tutorial for you, and we are going to learn how to make this gorgeous card. The stamp sets we'll be using today are Timeless Textures, Balloon Celebration. We'll also be using the Butterflies Thinlits dies and the Curvy Corner Trio Punch. The ink pads that we'll be using today are the Tempting Turquoise, Soft Suede, and we'll also be using the Versamark stamp pad with some clear embossing powder. The paper that we'll be using today, I have a piece of the Soft Suede cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by 11 and it's scored at 5 1/2. I have a piece of Tempting Turquoise that's cut a little big right now, but will eventually be cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. We have some work to do to it yet before we cut it down, and that will entail this piece of tissue paper here. It's just regular old tissue paper that you stick in a gift bag. I picked up a pack of white tissue paper at the dollar store, so we'll start with our card front, and we are going to take our piece of Tempting Turquoise, our tissue paper. I am going to ball up my tissue paper and then open it up like so. I'm going to use my matte gel medium and a foam brush. Just going to take some gel. This is like a glue. Dries clear and has a matte finish. And I'm just going to apply it all over the front of this card base. Alrighty. I'm then going to take my tissue paper, and I'm not going to try to flatten it out. Just going to press down and make sure that it adheres to the cardstock. So this is what it looks like after the tissue paper has been adhered to the cardstock. We're going to take a heat tool and speed up the drying process. Okay, so this is now dry and ready for the next step, and I'm going to go ahead and move this paper out of the way because it's going to get a little bit wet and messy, so we're going to use my craft mat here. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is grab some of the stamps from the Timeless Textures and our Soft Suede. Okay, and I am going to start with the stamp here. I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in the Soft Suede, and we're just going to stamp the entire front of this cardstock, like so. Okay, so there we go. Doesn't look like much, but it will. Now what we're going to do is take my spritzer that is filled with water, and I am just going to saturate the paper. So the tissue paper is giving our card texture as well as allowing the inks to react a little bit to the water and move around and create even more texture. So I'm going to go once again with my heat tool and speed up the drying process. So here's what it looks like after that step. You see how we're starting to get some depth and texture and dimension to the front of our card. So the next stamp that we're going to use is from the Timeless Textures, and we're going to use this little flourish here, and we're going to ink that in the Soft Suede. We're just going to randomly stamp this to the front. Okay, so next we'll grab our spritzer and we'll apply some more water to the front so that we can get that ink to move around a little bit and smudge and create some interest. And once again, we're going to use our heat tool to speed up the drying process. And here's what it looks like after that step. Isn't that gorgeous? We're not finished though. So we're going to take that same swirl stamp that we just used, and this time we will be inking it in the Tempting Turquoise. Okay, so let's go ahead, ink up my stamp, press it down, just randomly placing this stamping, because we will be spritzing this with water one final time, because we also want to get some movement on this ink. Okay, then one last time with the heat tool to speed up the drying process. So here's what our paper looks like after all that abuse. Isn't that just gorgeous? I'm going to take this over to my cutting tool, and I'm going to cut it down to 4 by 5 1/4, because this will be our card front, and I will do that and be right back. So here's what the card looks like after it's been cut down to 4 by 5 1/4. It is a little bit warped. Remember that we did abuse it a little bit with the water and the heat, and what I would do at this point would be to put it in between the pages of a book and probably let it sit overnight, and then come back and finish my card the next day. But for the purpose of this video, we are going to proceed without that step. It's not too bad, so our card will be just fine. We're still in the Timeless Textures, and we're going to use this here, and we're going to ink that up in the soft suede, and then we're going to go around the perimeter of the card. So create a border. Love this stamp for borders. Okay, so there is that. I'm going to grab my flourish again. So again, this one here from the Timeless Textures, I'm going to ink that up in the Tempting Turquoise, and then I'm just going to put some of that color on here. This provides a more solid image of my flourish, whereas the other flourishes that I stamped in the Tempting Turquoise bled a little bit, which is what we wanted, but now we want to go ahead and apply some of the more solid image, just like that. Isn't that beautiful? Next step is for me to grab my soft suede, and I'm going to grab a sponge, and I am going to sponge around the edges of this card front, just like so. Okay, so there is my card front. So one more thing, I'm going to take my Curvy corner trio, and I'm going to use this corner here, and I am going to punch out top left and the bottom right, like that. Okay, and that is finished for right now. So that is my card front. For the butterflies on the front of my card, I'm going to be using my Big Shot along with the Butterflies Thinlits dies. I have a scrap piece of the soft suede here that I'll be cutting with this die, and then I have a piece of the Tempting Turquoise that I applied the same technique to earlier. It was left over from the card that I've already made, and I'll be using that to cut the smaller butterfly. And then my sandwich is the magnetic platform, acrylic plate, paper, dies, another acrylic plate. I will run this through my Big Shot and be right back. So there are the butterflies that we cut. I am going to go ahead and my soft suede and my lovely sponge, and I am going to go ahead and ink around the edges of both of these pieces. So there we have the butterflies after they've been sponged around the edges. So I think we're ready to start putting our card together. There was another piece of cardstock that I failed to mention earlier, and this is a piece of the soft suede that's cut at 4 by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to go ahead and sponge around the edges of this as well. Okay, I think now we are ready to go ahead and start assembling. Okay, next I'm going to get some tape on the back of my card front. And I am going to go heavy with the tape because, again, it is a little bit warped. And we want it to lay flat. Okay, so here our card front is mounted to our card base, and the next step is to use some glue dots to get our lovely little butterflies on the front. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to use 2 glue dots behind the body of the butterfly, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to put it center, but a little bit tilted to the side, like so. Okay, just like that. Then I'm going to put 1 glue dot on this beautiful butterfly here in the center, and I'm going to place that. Oh, I got a glue dot on my fingers. Okay, I'm going to turn that up a little bit, and then I'm going to place this right about there, just like that. This piece here is going to serve as a faux ribbon across the front of my card, like so, and I'm going to use just a glue stick to apply glue to the back of it, and then put her down on the front of my card. So the next step is to stamp our sentiment, and for that I'm going to use the Balloon Celebration stamp set, and I'm going to use the Happy Birthday. And we're going to stamp that with the Versamark ink pad, and then we are going to heat emboss it with some clear embossing powder. First I want to rub my embossing buddy across the front of that to ensure that the powder is going to stick only where I want it. So, okay, let's get this going here. So let's ink her up with the Versamark, like so. Then we're going to ink or stamp on the little faux ribbon here over to the right. So just like that. Then press down. Okay, like that. Now we'll grab our embossing powder, and we shall pour it on the front. Like that. Now we will put some heat on there. Okay, there's that. And now to finish her off, we are going to use some of the pearls. Need my scissors. So we're going to place 3 larger ones over in this corner here. Okay, just like that. And then we're going to take 3 of the smaller ones and put it on the body of the smaller butterfly. And there you have it, super duper easy and super duper elegant. And as you can see with this technique, no 2 cards are ever alike. How cool is that? So make sure you jot down the supply list from down below this video. Then head on over to my website at withhisgifts.com and place your order today so you can make these beauties at home. Also, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love the opportunity to earn your business. Go ahead and visit me at withhisgifts.com. Check out what I'm all about and hit me up with any questions that you have. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please leave me a comment down below, and if you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Until next time, thank you and have a great day.